What's up, dudes? It's your boy Kelso here. In today's video, we're going to be seeing who did 2025 Anaheim 1 the best between FSX, Steezy, PCK, and ARL. I'm going to be giving my best constructive criticism and feedback and my own opinion on who did it the best to IRL scaling and or what IRL lines could have been done. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe button. Really tells me that you guys are enjoying the video and the content. We're just going to keep cranking it out. So without further ado, let's get right into the video, baby. All right, to be as transparent as possible with starting us off, we're here at Anaheim 1 for Steezy, and I just love that you actually make people spawn inside the pits. It's a small thing that leads up to a big thing, but you actually allow people to spawn and stuff, make it look aesthetic, make it look real, especially if people are trying to make videos for this stuff, aka YouTubers, TikTokers, whatever you are, doing, and then it actually makes it look like you're coming out to the track. Me personally, I super enjoy that, and I gotta say that was a big dub from you, Steezy, so I really have no complaints from that. As for the track and all that, I've ridden a couple laps already. The scaling has been top tier, way better than any of your stuff back in the day. I'm just being completely honest. I wasn't really vibing with some of the scaling from back in the day, but now it feels like there's a lot of viable lines here. There's a lot of situations to where 250s can ride and 450s. And I enjoy that. I'm not really vibing so much with your inside berms. I think they could be worked on a little bit better, maybe a little bit deeper. That way you can actually make these turns at, I guess, a little bit of a better pace and speed. But that's completely my own opinion. Maybe they're completely right to somebody else and they enjoy them. But I love that it is also free and how much work you've put into this for being just a free track. So I like that. We're going to do about 3 laps, really show you each track. I really want to make different alternate lines. So I want to take the regular IRL line they were doing, was a double to a triple, and then they were going triple and then single out after this triple right here, which was a huge line, very awesome. Then you were able to get onto the table off and then double. I enjoy that you made IRL lines possible and that there's also alternate lines. Now the only one that's not really I feel like I can try here is the over table and then jump over. I feel like this line is possible. I will hit it in the next one because I've already done it. But being able to downside and then get this quad that they were trying to do, I probably for sure it's going to be a 450 line. There's not too many 250 riders that were doing that line. So I really enjoy that you did make it a challenge for a 250 rider to where they have to completely grease it. So that's a W. And yeah, the sand is absolutely awesome. You gave them multiple different lines for people to actually handle and figure out. Really like this line right here. It was just a W situation through this whole spot. And the visuals, I mean, let's touch up on your visuals. I mean, you definitely came from a better texture now from what your other stuff was. So for a lot of people that haven't really seen Steezy from back in the day to now, dude, he has definitely upped his game. And for everybody else that is part of this, situation of scaling, testing, and all that stuff, you guys did a great job on making this work. Let's try this outside line now. Boom. Nice. Now, what I just want to say right now off the bat, I'm gonna wait till we get to ARL, but just certain things like that was not possible on ARL. Even that line's possible, taking the outside over the table, right? So we're also gonna try this line one more time. Gonna be up and over, grease it. I gotta be able to downside this to hit a quad. Oh, big stretch, but it's possible. So I just enjoy that you're able to do it if you have the momentum and the skill. So I really have no big complaints on Steezy. For this to be a free track, once again, free track, I mean, I love it, dude. So Steezy, you killed it. It's actually my first time downloading it today as this video is coming out for me testing it. I don't have any of your other tracks yet, but this is enticing me to want to download it. Link will be down in the description below if you guys haven't tried these tracks out. Definitely want to add these to the arsenal. Damn, I low-key just slid out. But yeah, biggest complaint or constructive criticism is just the inside lines. I get that you're making these alternate lines and all that. I just wish the berms were a little bit more built up. But scaling, you've outdonely did yourself a big thing. So I love it. I love it. I wish I'd love to see these in a series. I don't know if they are a series or if you're making one, but these definitely deserve to be one. I'm probably gonna go back inside and do double because I do not have the speed. But the biggest thing is the scaling, right? You're able to actually double into something and then triple out. That's super hard for ARL to do. I'm not trying to call him out yet until we get over there, but yeah, I honestly enjoy this. So let's go ahead and head over to the next track. Now, PCK has their spawn point out and just literally outside beyond the stadium to where it's like that IRL pits filled to where what they're actually doing. I kind of enjoy that a lot. The only thing is that the concrete material on the track really wears down the tires, so you really have to ride in pretty slow into the track if you want to go ride. If not, you're just wearing your own tires down. And I will say, hands down, this is my favorite stadium out of all 3 tracks that I'm showing off. I don't know, I felt like the team behind this did a very good job, but that's my own opinion. You know, no one's stadiums are wrong. I'm just saying, like, this was my favorite stadium that they did. But with that also being said, PCK, I also have my gripes and complaints to where what could have been better. Whoops are absolutely way better than what Steezy's was. I think Steezy's was a little bit too low. If I had to give constructive criticism on that, thinking back now since I'm riding on a different track, maybe just make them a little bit more built up, a little bit bigger, to where you actually feel like you need to actually have a little bit more of a challenge there, or there's a little bit more of a drive. I just felt like they were a little bit too small for my liking. But constructive criticism, my own opinion. Same thing here. There's a whole different line section in here. Hard to hit that triple out from the inside, but very viable on a 450 for sure. So that's going to be a little bit of a situation to where I think Steezy might have killed that line a little bit more. And also, this is where I give kudos to Steezy that PCK could have actually touched up on how deep this that triple in was. I think Steezy touched up on it the best so far to be able to make yourself know that, like, that triple in is not supposed to be, like, easy. So I 100% give Steezy kudos and probably first place right now for the long rhythm section. He probably sides it up the best out of everybody. Going over the table here and then being able to jump over, that's still a viable line. Able to hit the quad out as well. Not easy. Once again, hard on a 250, but there's a big reason why I'm riding on 250 for all 3 of these tracks. I just think that the scaling to be able to make a 250 viable is always the best thing. I mean, you can't ever, you know, make it to where it's just one bike can get around. Whether, like, you know, 450s, I get it, like main attraction, but these tracks need to be tested on 250s, right? There's a lot of new beginners to this that wants to ride 250s that need to learn, right? If you're scaling everything to 450, it's like, dude, you're not even setting them up for success, setting them for failure. So I just enjoy that that's still a possible line for a lot. It looks like if you downside that, you actually probably could hit a triple out. But yeah, that's it. There's no inside berms here. So that's another thing, is like Steezy created those inside berms to give you alternate lines. This right here is where you kind of create your own berm. Maybe you go double in and then you'd be able to triple. Real big stretch right there. I will say so far the scaling for that was not ideal. Little hard situation. So it's almost like you either have to triple in or you're not being able to do anything else. So I think that could be worked on as well, just being able to have more double lines or double ins to triples, which I think he did for sure. I mean, like I said, I first time I'm riding Steezy's tracks, but I've already ridden with PCK, and he's definitely touched up way better, learned the constructive criticism from what we've already told him. I'm just giving my extra 2 cents for sure. But yeah, that's really it, man. Just being able to touch up on that. I think Steezy made the scaling and what that big rhythm section could have been. For the sand, you didn't make big super multiple lines like Steezy did, but you did do 2 different ones, which is more than enough, as long as there's something to be able to make yourself have alternate lines to fight for. So I think the only spot that alternate lines weren't really played into is the big rhythm section for this track, which I think could have been better and done better. So I don't know, in my personal opinion, for sure. But with that being said, I'm going to take us over to our next track. As you can see, the only thing you really can do that's more viable is triple in. I just wish that triple would have been a little bit harder to grab, a little bit more of an alternate line situation. But yeah, that's about it. But let's head over to our last but not least, aerial, baby. All right, for sure, me on this one. My mic was muted and I don't have time to redo this, but I can easy peasily voice over this. But what I want to say is that the pits are right next to the start straight, and the reason why I say this is because every second counts for qualifying on these tracks, because everything's about momentum based and keeping it up on speed. You're going to see it time and time again that I'm going to have to take every outside line and carry as much speed to be able to hit a lot of situations on this track, right? A lot of it, they give you the alternate line between the sand section, stuff like this, but it's a lot to stretch and a lot to work with on a 250. Now, the reason why I want to say that I'm going to give a disclaimer here is aerial, they only have time to look at track map and then create it off of that track map, right? They're only going off that, and you have to give them the benefit of doubt to where by doing that, you can't really test on what IRL is doing until they actually start riding the track, right? So we do have to give them that. But the biggest thing, what I'm like really more or less pissed off about, is that you can't even do a simple double to triple. I mean, that should be easier than trying to triple in at times, right? on a 250, it should be easier to be able to double then triple something, you carrying a momentum. But it looks like he made it to where it's like everything's momentum based to where you have to hit triples in order for things to actually work. As you can see right now in the video, I don't care if I downside it or grease it or not. That is the hardest thing ever. And even if I do make it all the way up there, I'm only being able to case it, which you're probably going to see right here. I'm going to go again. I'll be able to case it. But that's it. There's no way for me to actually be able to fully jump over it and have a different alternate line. It's impossible. And that's where I want to touch up on saying, like, why is it easier for 250s to just straight triple in everywhere and keep momentum to where you're basically making it one line for 250s? Everything is one line with a 250. There is no such thing as an alternate line. And you don't have pre-made ruts, right? So we all have to play follow the leader, and we all know what basically our qualifying line is going to be, our race line. There's no way for you to make passes or have a different line through situations because we all have to play follow the leader throughout the whole corner in order for us to get anywhere. So I think this is where you as Ariel and stuff like that could have touched up on better, and I just don't understand why you're testing everything only on 450s. And tell me if I'm wrong, right? And tell me right now, like, oh, we do test it on 250s. Really? Do you? Because right then and there, you're showing that it wasn't even viable for a 250 to do that whole section at all. It's either you hit the triple in with momentum, which was probably the hardest triple to ever be done in 2025 right now, or you go double, 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 double all the way through. Do you really think they were doing double, double, double all the way through IRL? I mean, you just really have to think common sense at that point. And a situation, I'm being very constructive. I'm being as nice as possible as I can right now because this is what I've heard from the old, everybody in the community. They've all said it. I just think Anaheim 1 was definitely put together and half-assed, especially with the update coming out. And I feel like with our old OEMs, we probably could have hit those doubles and triples in easy peasy. And I think it was just on Stone Rider. If you're part of the OEM team, wouldn't you have thought to test the new OEMs on this track and rescale it? I mean, I'm just curious in my own opinion. Just simple things like this that could have been avoided to make it feel like Anaheim 1 was such a bust for Ariel. But honestly, at the end of the day, it didn't get any better. Same thing happened for multiple different tracks. The only track I can tell right now, as we will go over in the future, is Anaheim 2. That was the only track that he made to where doubles in were actually able to be done. I just don't understand why it's not at this point getting over their heads to know, like, make the bikes viable for 250s and 450s. I'm not saying a 250 needs to go all out and be able to hit 450 lines. I'm just saying make the simple lines able to be done on a 250. I don't know how hard that is or how much I'm beating a dead horse here, but overall, if I have to give great constructive criticism, you know, or just criticism at all, the textures, the way the track rides, it's all there. The scaling this is probably the best scaling if you really need to ride on a 450. I just wish it would be a little bit better for 250s because everything is momentum based. Like, if you don't drive yourself out of this corner to be able to hit the triple in, you're just not hitting anything. I think it just needs to be reiterated that we need to see something better in the future, which he is getting better. Like I said, this is only Anaheim 1. He has time to help himself out, and we haven't even got to those tracks yet. But hopefully this literally touched up on a lot of situations or a lot of stuff and talk in the community for you guys, and really be able to be like, yeah, like I was feeling the exact same way. But if I'm just literally yapping and not telling the truth here, I just honestly think at certain levels of the video game right now and the way the OEMs are, it was just half-assed here, and I felt like you could have been doing such a better job for the 250s. But with that being said, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe button. Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Let me know down in the comment section if what I said was wrong, if it was right, if you guys are agreeing with me. I didn't think anybody at the grand scheme of things did anything completely wrong. Like I said, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt that this track did come out a week before, and he only looked at track map. I just don't get the logic reasoning of, if you're looking at a track map and a long rhythm section, there's not going to be a double to a triple in that rhythm section, and only triples through. I don't know, in my own personal opinion. But yeah, without further ado, thank you guys for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate it. W to Ariel, W to PCK and Steezy. If I had to pick one right now that killed it the most, it is Steezy. He made it the most IRL feel. Granted, he had way more time than PCK and Ariel, but it did feel and scale the best out of it. So yeah, other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's your boy Kelso. Bye-bye.